Today we're going to take a ride in the 2014 Nissan Quest minivan. We'll also be looking at the 2014 Toyota Sienna van. The Quest has the proven 3.5 liter V6 that Nissan's been making for a long time. Very nice engine. This one's rated at 260 horsepower. It's connected to a CVT automatic transmission. The official gas mileage rating is 19 to 25 miles per gallon with an average of 21. The cabin has some good features. The gauge cluster is very easy to read and gives lots of useful information. Very simple, easy to use controls for the climate control and the radio. The navigation and information system is very simple to use. You're not likely to have to read the owner's manual. A good plus. I would think on a van this size we could get a bigger console than this, but we don't. Fortunately, we have a slide-through carry compartment underneath that helps. The room in the glove box is only average. Would help if you remove the owner's manual. Now the rocker panels under the door are very wide and the seat is pushed back. So what happens every time you step out of the vehicle, your leg rubs on the bodywork down here. Fortunately, the doors cover the bodywork, so you're not likely to get mud or dirt on there. So even though your leg rubs on it, they don't get dirty very often. So this isn't really a big problem, you just have to be aware of it. Just keep the vehicle clean. Now if you get the second row bench seats, you can seat 7 in here. But with these 2 bucket seats, now you're only going to fit 6. That includes the 2 fold down in the third row. We get a nice storage compartment underneath the door. Good for hiding things. Makes up for the lack of storage in the front. Now, according to the Nissan specs, the maximum storage space with the seats folded down is 108 cubic feet. That's about 30% less than what you get on Honda and Toyota competitors. The Nissan engine has some good pickup. While the Nissan has a slight disadvantage as far as carrying people and gear, it makes up for that with great driving characteristics. The ride is very, very comfortable. The steering has good feel. The brake has a nice firm pedal feel. And the handling balance is pretty good for what is a minivan. I took a long trip on this, 300 miles, and was very comfortable. No complaints whatsoever. Also, gas mileage-wise, whether I'm in the city, mixed city, or highway, I'm running around 19 to 21 overall. I'm sure if you get a back road and drive at 55 miles per hour, you can do a lot better. Base price of a Nissan Quest runs around $28,000. This one was maxed out with everything, was a tad over $45,000. Even though it's a bit short on passenger and cargo space, it makes up for it in driving characteristics. And if that's what you're looking for, the Nissan Quest would be a very good choice. Very pleasant van to drive. Now if you haven't made up your mind about the Nissan Quest, we can take a look at the 2014 Toyota Sienna van. Now the Toyota also has a 3.5 liter V6, but this one's rated at 266 horsepower and hooked to a 6-speed automatic transmission, more conventional than the Nissan CVT. Gas mileage is rated at 18 to 25 miles per gallon, but this particular vehicle had all-wheel drive. It's great for running on wet roads like snow, rain, sand. The drawback is the mileage drops to 16 to 23 miles per gallon, which is what I've been getting for the past 300 miles. Now the Sienna is advertised as an 8-passenger. On this particular vehicle, it's a 7-passenger. We got 2 bucket seats in front, 2 captain's chairs in the second row, and a bench seat on the third row for 2 adults or 3 children, which brings you up to the 7. Now the 108 cubic feet of cargo space in the Nissan was more than adequate, but this Toyota Sienna is huge. We got 150 cubic feet and lots of storage in the back here. Now in general, the controls are pretty easy to use. The quality is very nice. Navigation audio system is very simple to use. And these rear seats are very comfortable. I did have some minor nitpicking. Number one, optional, is plastic wood on the upgraded models. Come on, guys. We're not in the 60s anymore. We don't need fake wood, please. Secondly, I think the glove box size on this vehicle is way too small, especially considering how large this van is. But I will give them a free pass on this because we do have another glove box on top for storing other things. There's also a nice full-size console in the middle here. 4 cup holders for people that are really thirsty. And my third minor beef was with the radio location. It's located a bit too far to the right. And the controls you're going to use often, the navigation and the seek, are on the right where you can't reach them, while the controls you're never going to use, like setup, are on the left. They need to switch this around a little bit. But this seems to be a common problem on most vehicles nowadays. But again, these are 3 minor beefs, nothing serious. I just wanted to point them out. By the way, on this upgrade model, we get a sunroof for the front passengers. And so the people in the middle and rear aren't left out, we get a sunroof for them too. Since the Toyota Sienna doesn't put out much more horsepower than the Nissan Quest, plus this particular model had the weight and drag of all-wheel drive, I suspected it to be slower in acceleration, but this wasn't the case. Actually, the Sienna was quicker. I suspect the conventional 6-speed automatic has something to do with this. But either way, it doesn't matter. There's more than adequate power here. Now, driving the Nissan Quest was very sporty, sort of like driving a speedboat. By comparison, the Sienna is more like driving a large cruise ship. Very huge, very comfortable, but you don't want to take high-speed corners on the racetrack with it. The suspension is a bit too soft. But then people don't buy vans for racing around high-speed corners, so I don't think this is going to be a problem. Bottom line, this is a very, very comfortable vehicle to drive on long trips. Now, the base price for a Sienna is listed around $26,000, pretty close to the Nissan. But Toyota sells all the vans they make, so they like loading them up with goodies, which explains why this one tricked out at $47,895. Which is what you get when you have a van loaded with everything. A very, very nice van, but very, very expensive. Nissan Quest and the Toyota Sienna are both excellent vans. It's just a matter of how much you want to pay and what driving characteristics you favor. Either one's a good choice, though.